Hey, Klara Adalena here. Hi, everyone. Klara Adalena, Love for Life Academy. Getting all my papers straight while you're all coming in. That's my neighbor always laughs about me when I scratch my ear. She says, "Never do that, Klara. It's a sign you're nervous and everybody will see it." Well, maybe I am. I always find it pretty exciting, to be honest. More and more, good to see some people here. Hey, I know your face, but I forgot your name. Say hello and I will see who you are. More and more people are actually finding me through these lives, which is quite exciting. Spoke yesterday to a woman who actually chose to work with me. And when I asked, how did you find me? It was through one of these live sessions. Isn't that fun? Facebook is here to connect us, and connection is what we are all about. How do we truly connect? And my challenge, just as the challenge in dating, is to really connect from my vulnerability, from my heart. I don't find it easy, and I'm sure you don't either. Because it's one of those moments, right, where you actually want to protect yourself. And you're like, who is here? That's why I always ask, who is here? It does help so much. And at the same time, it is something like, in those moments where it counts, what do you do? When it's scary, when something you just want to hold back and hide, but another part of you wants to reach people, make connection, let them know what is possible. When you're in that spot, when you're on a date, and part of you is like, here is this amazing guy coming to meet me. He might be my future man. But one part of me wants to connect and make him feel at ease and see what's possible. And another part is just like, more of those guys. What will he say about me? What will he say to his friends about me? And I just want to hide and protect. I don't know him. How do we deal with that challenge? And especially as high-end women, right? Part of that generation of women who is rocking it. You can have it all. Everything should be easy. You are having an amazing career. And then you come into this dating space on a profile, an app, or actually, live a date. And it's like, yeah, I bring so much, but how much of that do I show? Does it scare him away when I show everything? Or is it an invitation? Do I want to be talked about on Facebook? Do I want him to know everything about me? There is something that you want to protect. And yet you don't want to protect. And that's what I want to speak about today. This place, this edge. How can we find that edge? And when we find it, everything changes. Because we tend to think in either or. Either I protect myself, I don't show too much, I just lean back and wait until I really feel this man is worthwhile. That place in yourself? And then another place is, what the F? Let me just go for it. Who cares anyhow? And I want to enjoy this night. And actually, neither of them really do it. Hey, Michelle, good to have you here. And Nashwa, now I see who you are. Good to see all of you. Ta-da. Expecting some more women. Hope they can find it. Let me see, somebody else saying, yeah, no. So there's these two sides in you. And you're like, what do I do? Yay, Nashwa. Hi. When you find that edge, something new happens, which is bigger. It's out of that either or space. You are not forcing yourself to give too much, and neither are you holding back. But when you're on that edge, you're doing something very courageous. And that courage in itself starts coming through. And that touches hearts. Feel that new quality that's added to it. You know how I like to think about it? As a tiger. I'm sure you're passionate about tigers like me, right? Hope we can protect and save them. And it begins with honoring the tiger in yourself. What do I mean when I say the tiger? The tiger is your life energy. And most of us have a wounded tiger. A wounded tiger is like being abused, have seen a sister being abused, know that it's risky on a date, pictures could be taken, anything could happen. Being wary, being disappointed, being hurt. That's the wounded tiger. That's when our life energy starts to withdraw. And what happens then is our survival mechanism kicks in. That's the wounded tiger. When we don't no longer operate from our heart, not no longer from our best knowing, but from the wounded survival. We need to take action now to stay safe. A question that is so powerful to ask yourself, and by the way, if you have any experience with this, or want to share your own story, or want to ask a question about this topic, feel free, right? Klara, Adalena here at the Love for Life Academy. And this is a place to interact with each other. So the wounded tiger, that's like this survival instinct. And we've been able to locate that in our own brain. It's the amygdala. It's kind of on this line in the middle of your head. And it's kind of separated from the rest of your brain. And we have like the frontal cortex, right? Frontal cortex here, which is the analytical, rational thinking, which we like to think of as the brain. But the amygdala is just as much part of your brain, but it's much more primal. I always make fists when I talk about the amygdala. It's that energy. Either we strike, or we run, or we bury ourselves in the ground like an ostrich. Have you seen yourself doing any of that in a dating situation? I have. I would go on a date, I would be really open and like, yeah, took a bath, took care of myself, relaxed, being ready to meet someone, I thought, until for everyone, the moment is different. For some, it's until you leave your own door. You go through your front door. For others, it's when I leave my car, or when I enter the building where I will meet him, or, when I see him. And suddenly it all changes. Instead of being that open, creative, relaxed woman, I'm totally on focus. I'm like, what needs to happen here? I judge immediately, he's right or he's not right. Sorry, guys. I judge immediately, and then I just take action, and I don't allow anything to keep me from my course. Do you know that? It's so funny, right? Because we all know it's totally not productive on a date. That's why it's so funny. But while we're doing it, we feel very on point, because the amygdala doesn't allow doubt. That's what we like about it. Once I'm in that space, all our self-doubt just disappears. Because when you're truly facing a tiger, right? You're a human facing a tiger, you have no space to doubt. You need to act. But that's not the most beneficial way to enter a date, and we know it. But the amygdala, once it gets triggered, it's stronger than your brain. It cuts off your brain. I spoke a lot about that on Tuesday. Find that live session too. Welcome, by the way, to the newcomers. Klara, Adalena here, Love for Life Academy. Speaking on when we sabotage ourselves in dating, to use that word, when we start showing up very differently from what we know actually works. So I know this place where I, totally contract. The moment, for me, it's actually when I leave my front door. I also know that energy of just wanting to withdraw, right? I am there, I'm sitting there. This time it went okay. I'm just relaxed. But I find myself withdrawing my energy more and more. And I want to look on my phone and start thinking about what I'll do tomorrow. And actually, part of me is waiting till I'm home. That's always the moment when I realize I was in it. I come home and I take a good breath and I'm like, I can be myself again. Oh my God. So, what does that tell you, right? That on that date you've not been yourself. And how effective do you think that is? When you're on this date, you want to see if connection is possible, you want to see if connection is awesome, and you're not yourself. I mean, what are we doing, right? Probably when you're not yourself, he is not yourself. So me from not being myself is trying to judge him who is not himself to see if whether he, when he is himself, could work with the one who is myself. That doesn't work. So what is essential is that we realize this is going on. Then there's the third way that the amygdala kicks in and ruins your date. The most powerful way of all, it just keeps you from going on a date at all. Either you've made the appointment, you said you would be there, and you're just not going. On my very, very, very first date, oh, I still blush when I think of it. I was 14, I guess, something like that. And just before summer, you know, this love thing started happening with a boy in my school class. And the whole summer I was thinking about him and, you know, and I think we even wrote a few cards. At that time, it was snail mail, right? A few cards back and forth. And then he proposed to meet at the end of the holiday. And as the day came closer, I just freaked. And I literally did this. And I wrote him some nasty card. I forgot what, but I did not show up. And, you know, this was second grade, high school. And I remember in fifth grade, in sixth grade, I still had trouble facing him. Crazy. So that's the amygdala kicking in. And it's so powerful. Of course, I know you don't do that to a guy, right? But I did it. So how do we deal with this? First of all, we just realize this is what's going on. And this is part of what makes dating so difficult. Now, these are pretty extreme situations. Often it's a bit more subtle, more covered up. But can you recognize it in yourself? When that's going on, you can date 1,000 men. And you can think, I will wait for the 1,001th man and he will be it. But it doesn't work this way. When you're not in yourself, when either you're not at all coming to a date, or when you start to fight in one way or the other, you can meet 1,000, 2,000, but the right one will never be there. That is so important to get. It's not a numbers game. Women who have been dating for years and not working out. Lately, I get a few women, you know, they've been on hundreds of dates, literally not the one. Almost like flipping a deck of cards, thinking that one time the ace will come up. Yay, Nashua, I know that dual attitude, tell him all or run. Great that you recognize it. And, you know, being on hundreds of dates. And I know that once they will start working with me, and this woman actually did start to work with me, so I know 8 weeks from now, it will be totally different. And she will either have met her true soulmate or feel like, yeah, I'm meeting a great man and he will come soon. We shift this stuff, right? That's what I stand for. We shift this stuff. Why? Because we understand this amygdala. We understand this pattern. And we understand that this amygdala, what does it need? Your love, like everything in life, right? Rilke, I think it was, maybe every dragon we meet in our life is just a hero looking for our love. He used the female version, but right? So we start to love ourselves. We start to love that energy that starts to run through our body when we get closer to the date. And instead of using that energy to clamp down, we allow that energy to rush through us. And that's when things start to change. And instead of allowing that energy to get us into a fighting mode and to prove that we are the best deal on the planet, but at the same time keeping him at a distance, instead of that, we allow that energy to free our passion and to allow us to become there vibrant with love and with energy and with adventure and with fun. It's the same energy, but used differently. Is it trapped and keeping me in my inflicted cage? Or is it allowed to run free, making me free and making connection possible? That's what this is about. So when you know this pattern in yourself and you recognize one of these three, or often all three together, right? Or when you recognize, I'm just flipping cards one date after the other and nothing is happening, well, then it's a good idea, if you're not already working with me, to come and have a chat and see what is actually going on. And whether your amygdala is quote unquote protecting yourself from tigers that don't exist and is actually keeping you in your own inflicted cage. So how do you do that? Set up a chat with me, klaraadalena.com/apply. Look here on the internet somewhere to see how my name is spelled. Use the K, Klara, Adalena. Sounds Italian, right? klaraadalena.com/apply. It's a free chat. We really dive deep into your love life. And you know what I stand for? You can meet your soulmate in 6 months. You can have an amazing, fulfilling relationship and an epic life and true love that renews itself again and again. You can have that within 6 months. And it doesn't matter how long you've been stuck, what color your eyes are, whether you think you're too fat or not, because it's not at all about how you look, and it's not even about how you think about your look. If you think you're too thin, too old, too young, too normal, it's not about any of that. Those are definitely things that will handicap you until you stop letting them handicap you. And that's what we are about, to change how all these things affect you. So what matters, what truly matters to change all this amygdala stuff, to heal your tiger, to allow connection to happen, what truly matters is that you're really, really committed to change this. And that means you're also committed to take new, daring, fearless actions. Taking the kind of actions you've been taking already is not going to change a thing, of course. Are you fearless? Are you ready to take new, fearless actions to change your life by changing how you show up? That's the first thing that is needed. The second thing that is needed is to be willing to listen to your heart. Somebody today that I spoke to said it very beautifully. I invited her to connect to her heart. Wasn't that easy? She said, but I feel something moving. And I said, wow, like what? She said, like a butterfly. And it so helped me connect to my own heart. Can you feel it? It's like that butterfly. It's that tenderness to it. And I love the image because on the one hand, it shows us the tenderness of the heart. On the other hand, it tells us that when the heart becomes free, it's like the rups. What is the rups in English? The rups, not the rups. That little animal that comes out of, that goes into the cocoon, right? And then comes out as the butterfly. The caterpillar, I think that's the word. The heart always also speaks about that transformation. When we allow the heart in, instead of being the caterpillar that nobody is interested in, we become the butterfly that opens hearts everywhere. Just by connecting to our own heart, So what is needed, my ears today, what is needed is a willingness to listen to that butterfly inside yourself. And the third thing that is needed is a willingness to follow a proven system. Because, being the badass women that we are, we all think we know best, right? But when you've not been succeeding in love, you don't know best in love. Let's be fair. I've guided so many women by now to find their partner. Will you trust that system? Will you allow somebody to hold up a mirror for you and say, hey, this is your amygdala. You think you're in your power, but actually you're just fighting windmills like Don Quixote. You're just playing the ostrich. You're just running like a chicken without a head, right? Will you allow somebody to give you some honest, fair feedback? Those are the three things that really matter. And the fun thing is that this group that I like working for, the badass young sisters who, know they're a queen, know they can have it all, are racing to the top of the career ladders, getting the corner office at work, outpacing their male peers, right? These same women, they usually have this. So when love has been hard up till now, but you have these qualities, know that if you want it, it's solved. Reach out, klaraadalena.com/apply. The amygdala is very powerful in holding you back from reaching out for help. Hey, interesting that, right? Here comes an offer. Ooh, but that means I accept help. Ooh, help is not part of the language of the wounded tiger. Accepting help is not part of fight, flight, or freeze. That's actually why many people who don't panic so quickly and who can accept help, they come much further in life, even if they have much less talent. So can you allow yourself to get help? Great question. Also, because it's a great way to connect to men. Men love helping you, but will you allow them? That was my last tip for the day. Klara Adalena at the Love for Life Academy. Excited to be doing these lives with you and to see more and more, faces coming back. Thank you for being here with me. And yeah, rock your life, find love. It's all in your hands. Thank you. And Tuesday, early morning, 8:45 Amsterdam time, I'll be back. See you then. Aloha.